Hello and welcome to a brand new series on the channel. I hope you like tier lists because we're going to be seeing a lot of them. I'm going to be doing a by the year, I guess, horror movie tier list series where I'm going to be looking through a handful of years each time, go through the horror movies I've seen from those years, and put them on a tier list and see what's good, what's bad, and what year maybe had the best selection of horror movies to offer. I've been thinking about doing this series for a little while now, so I hope you enjoy. We're going to kick it off with the most recent crop of movies, 2020 to 2023. First up, we got Alive, #Alive, or I don't know. It's a zombie movie. It's pretty interesting, not anything too crazy, but I thought the characters were nice. I thought the story with one guy trapped in one building and a girl trapped in another, and they had to find a way to kind of get to one another and help each other survive this giant zombie virus thing. I think it's pretty cool. It's not the greatest zombie movie ever, but it's something slightly different and it's enjoyable, so I'm gonna put it in good. Next up, we have Antlers, and this movie I think took a while. I think maybe had production issues or due to COVID. I don't know what all the stuff was about, but I know it took a while to finally come out. And when it did, people were disappointed. I didn't check it out until later after all the disappointment washed away. I was disappointed. I heard some talk about this movie, so I thought it must be somewhat worthwhile. I like what it tries to go for, I think. It's been a while since I last watched it, and I don't remember much, but I know just the ending is whatever. I mean, the Wendigo creature and, like, the dad, I think it was, turning into, like, this creature, like, that was interesting. This movie didn't click for me. I don't know, maybe it's me. Maybe the movie was just not that great. Very bottom of meh. Now we have Army of the Dead, a Netflix original. Batista's in it. The whole rest of the cast is a lot of fun. Back to the zombie genre of horror. I think this is a better zombie movie because there's more action, I guess, and just more fun shenanigans and antics. There's even a zombie tiger, which, holy hell, that's pretty freaking cool. I just think the movie's pretty fun. This is what I want out of a zombie movie. Is it the best thing ever? No, but it was a really fun watch, and I think it lands in great. Now we have Barbarian, a movie I knew nothing about. I turned it on to add it to a 2022 movie tier list. I fell in love with this movie, man. Georgina Campbell, Bill Skarsgård, Justin Long, three very good characters. It's put together so well. You never know what's gonna happen next because there's like a cut after something horrifying happens. It just cuts to like a brand new character, and we see how the characters connected. And the less you know about this movie, the better. I've spoiled it once before on this channel, but I refuse to do it again. Regardless, I'm putting it in best. If you haven't seen it, oh my god, go watch it. Now we have Beast. We have Idris Elba and his family trying to fight off a very pissed off tiger or lion. I think it's a tiger. I don't know. It was just kind of simple, plain. I'm sure a lot of people thought it was fine. It's not bad by any means. It's fine. Just, I thought it was going to be something maybe I hadn't seen before, but there's probably tons of movies like this out there. It's nothing special, but it is alright. I'd say it's better than Antlers. I wanted more from the movie. It's not in the same tier as #Alive though, so I'm putting it above Antlers and meh. Now we have Cocaine Bear. It was a lot of fun. Saw it in theaters with my friends. The movie is what it is. It's a bear that got into some druggies and is attacking people. There's a lot of human stuff involved that people weren't too thrilled with. I personally didn't mind it. I thought some of the characters were funny. The little storylines going throughout the movie I thought were fine. I like it. It's a fun hour and 30 minutes, so if you need time to kill, watch Cocaine Bear. Probably not great, but top of good. It's really solid. Now we have another Netflix original in Day Shift. Jamie Foxx is a vampire hunter. He sells their fangs for money. Pretty interesting little concept. The vampires are super acrobatic and bendy, and they get the crap beat out of them, and it's really fun. Dave Franco is also in it, and he's really funny as like the wimpy sidekick to Jamie Foxx. Also, Snoop Dogg's there. That's always gonna be a plus. I believe his name is Big John or something like that, and he has a giant machine gun and just mows down some vampires. It's really silly, but a lot of good action, and I think it goes up there with Army of the Dead. I think it was really fun, and I'd gladly watch it again. Now we have Evil Dead Rise. It came out this year in 2023. Very good, very creepy. Alyssa Sutherland, I say this every time I talk about this movie, she absolutely kills it, as well as all the other characters, but she just knocks it out of the park with her deadite performance. Mommy's with the maggots now. That was, damn, that's bars. Hell yeah. Out of 2020 to 2023, this probably lands itself in the best. The vibes from this movie are fantastic. All the creepiness I want out of an Evil Dead movie, it's right here. I love it. Now we have The Exorcist Believer. Instead of one possessed girl, we have two possessed girls, and it is fine, if you can even say fine. I didn't have my expectations up high. I knew I probably wasn't going to enjoy it. I don't care about possession stuff too much. You know, maybe that braced how I felt about the movie a little bit. I was like, it's probably not going to be nothing. And I watched it. Didn't feel a damn thing. It was okay. It doesn't go a no. I probably would watch it again over Antlers, and maybe, probably not over Beast, actually, even though it's really simple. They played it safe. Exorcist was like, it's the same thing, but with 2 girls, and one of the girls, spoiler, you don't get to spend too much time with, so you don't care about her. And when she, spoiler, dies in the end, it's like, okay, damn, that sucks for her and her family, I guess. We spend more time with the adults that are normal than the kids that are possessed, which it's an Exorcist movie, and so I feel like we should spend more time with the possessed kids and not, like, the first chunk of the movie is like them looking for their lost kids before we even know they're possessed or anything like that. It's like, focus on the possession stuff, man. That's what you're supposed to be about. Now we have Five Nights at Freddy's. Ooh, what a, horror movie. Sure, guess you can call that. The tone, I guess, was trying to be a little creepy, a little spooky animatronics, which, by the way, the animatronics looked fan-freaking-tastic. Love the practical effects and the puppets and the machines or whatever the hell. Awesome, cool stuff. It's not the best movie by any means, but I will always say this every time I talk about it. I had a fun time watching it, and that's really what I want from a movie. I don't want cinema masterclass or whatever the hell. I just want to have an enjoyable experience, and I did watching Five Nights at Freddy's. I'd put it in great. Zombies and vampires, animatronics. The trifecta is complete in the great tier. Now we have Freaky. Vince Vaughn, Kathryn Newton do amazing in their roles. Vince Vaughn has to pretend to be a teenage girl, and Kathryn Newton has to pretend to be a serial killer, and both of them do a very good job. Vince Vaughn is a major highlight, but also gotta throw it back to Kathryn Newton. She is also a very badass serial killer. A lot of interesting kills, a lot of funny moments. It's silly, but also violent. And that's probably, for me, one of my favorite combinations. It's gonna land itself in the best tier. I like comedy and I like horror, and I think it's a really good blend of both. Then we have Halloween Ends. You know what, before we get to that, we'll do Halloween Kills. Halloween Kills obviously came out before Halloween Ends. It was the middle child in the newest trilogy of Halloween movies. Michael Myers in this movie is just, hey, I'm just gonna kill you guys. Is that chill? Haha, thank you. You got all the mob mentality stuff, which it's like, don't focus all your attention on hatred towards this thing, because then mistakes are made and you're messy. I guess that's something. Spoiler, big spoiler, but this movie's been out for a few years now. Judy Greer, don't kill her off. How effing dare you? How dare you? But yeah, other than that, no notes. It's fine. I like Michael going around and killing people. Is that enough to save this movie from me putting it in like a meh position? Kinda. I'd probably watch it over Beast just because Michael Myers is a familiar face, and seeing him do his murdering thing is good enough for me. And now we have Halloween Ends. This was the end of the newest trilogy. Laurie and Michael, one last showdown. By the way, get through like an hour and a half of all this other crap, and then you get to see it. You have the new character, what was it? Corey, that was his name. Corey, if you introduced that character earlier on in your little trilogy, I'm sure I would have cared about him a bit more. But seeing him in this newest installment, or in the last installment, I guess, be the main focus for half, and a little more so, like, it's like, why? Why bring a new character in your last movie and make him the focal point? And then he doesn't even do anything too huge. Like, he tag teams with Michael. Whoa, pause. But, like, it just, like, I'm so frustrated over how they ended the trilogy. It's not the worst thing ever by any means. I know I'm shitting all over it. Like, there's worse things out there, probably some on this list. But it is just not the way you should have ended it at all. The last 10 minutes, make that a mini movie. There you go, that's how you end Michael Myers. But god, dude, I'm disappointed. It's a more enjoyable watch than Antlers and Exorcist and Beast, and maybe even Alive, since zombies aren't my, my big thing, but it's still, I'm let down by it, so I think I gotta put it top of above Beast, because I'd rather watch it over Beast, but I was just disappointed by it. Now we have I'm Thinking of Ending Things, a movie that I watched on Netflix for some kind of video I was making. It was listed under like horror / mystery / thriller or something like that. This movie feels like it's 3.5 hours long. The acting, just want to get all the positive out of the way. The acting was good. I love our main lady. I think she's good in the role as like this, just monotone, like, I'm thinking of ending things, yada yada yada, ramble, and messages and themes and whatnot. I was so fucking bored, man. Which, maybe it's just, that's me. Maybe the movie's not for me. I know it's based off a book, I think. But holy crap, dude. There were a couple, like, creepy moments in the movie that I guess were somewhat enjoyable, but, like, would I ever ever even consider watching this movie again. 1% chance of that happening. I'm putting it in no. Maybe it's just not for me. Maybe I missed a big point. Now we have Last Night in Soho. Anya Taylor-Joy kills it. Thomasin McKenzie kills it. Oh my god, I don't want to call him the guy from Morbius, but I don't know his name. I think it's like Matt Stone or Matt Smith or something like that, but he's pretty good as well. Just the story this movie takes you on, it's like an adventure, and then there's a mystery. You get all the clues and elements thrown at you, and it's like, ooh, okay, we got some nice character building. The first, 30 minutes is following, I want to say, I don't remember her name, so I'm just going to call her Thomasin McKenzie. You get to explore her character, see what she's doing in fashion school and whatnot. It's just a very wonderful movie. I mean, there's some not wonderful things in it, obviously, but I had a blast watching it. I didn't know anything about it going into it. I thought it would be just fine, but I really had a good time watching it, and I haven't seen it since, but I should, because I liked it a lot. It's gonna go in great, good mix of fun, and great quality to it. Yeah, top of great, borderline best, but I just don't think it's in the same tier as Evil Dead Rise, Barbarian, and Freaky. So top of great it goes. Now we have Megan, M3gan killer android doll, who gets closer to a little girl named Katie, which I called her Sadie because it's spelled C-A-D-Y, and then I just watched the first half of the movie recently and they call her Katie. I'm like, damn it, I messed it up. I knew that was gonna happen. But her and Katie have a nice little bonding relationship because, hey, Megan is her toy. But Megan's like, I'm so advanced that I can beat the hell out of people. She even tears a kid's ear off and pushes him down a hill. Well, she doesn't push him, he trips, I think. And then he gets hit by a car, and that's really funny, because he was a dickhead. This movie is on, the simpler side of things. You kind of predict where the story's gonna go, but there's nice moments, intense moments. Megan's design and just the way she moves around in the movie is really cool. It goes in great. Very, very good movie. And now we have Malignant. If you've watched this channel for long enough and you've seen most of my movie stuff, you know that I effing love Malignant. James Wan created a little horror masterpiece. Damn, did he make art. He made cinema. The story about it, seeing all the visions of people getting killed and going, what the hell's going on here? And then the reveal of how she is seeing all these things happening. Damn, there's a couple of twists and turns in this movie, and boy do I love myself a twist and or a turn. Oh my god, I haven't seen it. I actually have not sat down and watched it since first watching it. So maybe I hate it now, but I don't even want to put that thought out there because I just don't want to touch Malignant. It's so cool. It is just so freaking cool. Goes in best, without saying. You see how much I'm hyping it up, so. And now we have Meg 2, The Trench. It was an unnecessary little sequel, but movies are gonna movie and they want to make money, so they're gonna, oh, this did well, let's make another one of it, even though, why? Jason Statham fights another megalodon. I think it's bigger than the last one, I could only assume. There's also some extra stuff. There's some prehistoric little creatures that come out of the, the trench. That's why it's in the title. And they go on a little underwater adventure. They have mech suits, and there's characters that get killed in dumb ways. Watching this, not to hate on it, because it is kind of a fun movie. There's some fun moments in it, some funny moments in it as well. But I was watching it and I was like, I want this to end soon. I think it's 2 hours, and we don't need to spend 2 hours watching Jason Statham kill a giant shark. I think we can make it a short, fun adventure like Cocaine Bear. It drags on a little bit. It's a bit extra and a little unnecessary. It doesn't go in no, but it does go in meh, probably under Halloween Ends. Now we have Nope. I personally did not enjoy the movie that much. I enjoyed it, but there was a wider thing to learn or take away from the movie that half the people saw it were like, wow, that was great and I love the message. And half the other people were like, that was stupid. What the hell was happening the whole time? I fall in the middle, where I kind of get the message, and I looked it up on Reddit and Google and Twitter to see what it was really trying to say, and I was like, oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense. I didn't hate it, but would I watch it again? Maybe, The movie's called Nope, but I give it a maybe. I might watch it again if I get the chance. I like the two main siblings that we follow around. I think it is a quality movie. It's just that, I don't know, it was like a weird ride watching it. I heard all the hype, I watched it, and I was like, wow, that was interesting. It made me think. I didn't get the feeling, I guess, I don't know, I don't want to say it was overhyped, but just for me personally, not gonna make my top favorites list or anything like that. but was still an enjoyable watch, and that's really all I want. So we're gonna put it in top of good. It'll probably stay in the top of good, middle of good. I know a lot of people would look at this and be like, nope, right next to Cocaine Bear, what the hell, are you stupid? And yes, I am. Moving on, we got Old, M. Night Shyamalan. This movie, all I heard was bad things about it. For the first couple years after it came out, I finally got around to watching it. I was just gonna put it on in the background, because I was like, well, this movie apparently isn't that good or anything. So there you go. But after like a bit, I was hooked. I sat on my floor when I probably should have been working on whatever I was working on, and I watched this whole movie throughout, and I was like, wow, that was really good. I enjoyed myself quite a bit while watching it. There's probably some plot holes or things that don't make sense. I don't care. I enjoyed myself. I think it was a solid movie, and especially at the end, spoiler, but if you like know anything about Old, you probably already get the gist of what happens in it. But when you got the two kids that are rapidly growing older and the parents that are rapidly growing older towards the end, it kind of gives like an emotional scene where like the dad's losing his eyesight, the mother's losing her hearing because they're, you know, they're getting older and older. It's like, oh damn, that kind of hit me a little bit. But yeah, I enjoyed Old like a lot. I think it's going probably bottom of great. I don't see it passing Five Nights or anything else that gets added to the great, but we'll just have to wait and see. Now we have Orphan First Kill. This was the prequel to Orphan. So it's like, well, we already know Esther's big secret, and so what else do we gotta learn? I guess we'll just have some more story stuff about her. But, oh, we don't just get extra lore, we get just another giant twist. Orphan already has a twist in it. The prequel has another twist that I enjoyed more. I think I enjoyed Orphan. I'm losing my fucking mind. I think I enjoyed First Kill more than Orphan. So, it probably lands itself somewhere in great. Esther, once again, is being a little shitter, but this time the family that has taken her in, and we're like, oh my god, you're our missing daughter, hello! The mom and the son in that movie are both shitters as well, and their chemistry is just awesome, and the last half of the movie is just fun antics. Orphan First Kill goes in great. Now we have Renfield, another movie that came out in 2023. I thought Nicolas Cage did great as Dracula, Nicholas Hoult did good as Renfield, Awkwafina did fine in her cop stuff that I didn't care too much about, but she is okay in it. Lots of fun violence, lots of arms getting ripped off, and crazy action sequences. Also, Ben Schwartz is in it, he's the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog, and I love him on Parks and Rec. I pretty much enjoyed a lot of things about this movie. It just, you know, I thought it was fine. It didn't exceed expectations, it was just as good as I thought it was probably going to end up being. Probably bottom of great. Now we have Saw X. Holy crap. Saw X was really good. I just got done recently watching all of the Saw movies, and I'd say this is still in the upper half of all the Saw movies. The style feels a bit different, but also keeps the same tone. We get to spend more time with John Kramer, and Amanda's back. Saw 11 was just announced, and they can make about 10 more of the movies, and I'll go and see them in the theaters. I will pay my money to watch Sonema. If you didn't get that, that was supposed to be cinema mixed with Saw. It was really stupid, so ignore I said it. It's gonna go probably in best above Evil Dead Rise, probably not above Barbarian. You know, just for the hell of it, I'm probably gonna put Barbarian above Freaky. I just think it's like, it really nails just everything it does in there. But going back to Saw X, great Saw movie. The traps are brutal, and it's nice to have a good Saw movie again after Spiral, which we'll get to soon, and Jigsaw that was fine. Next up, we got Scream 5. I really enjoyed it. It took about, what, like 11 years to come out after Scream 4, which I love Scream 4. I love the Scream franchise as a whole, and this is up there, probably in my top 3 movies in the Scream franchise. I think the legacy characters coming back, Dewey, Gale, and Sidney, and they're mixing it up with new characters like Tara, Sam, and, you know, other members of the core 4 like Mindy and Chad. I love the new characters. I love the legacy characters. I love the Ghostface killers in this. I'm not gonna say who they were, but the reveals were pretty cool, and they were some pretty solid Ghostfaces. It's a great Scream movie and also sets up good stuff for the next movie, Scream 6, which we'll get to next. And overall, just, it's a very good movie, and I enjoyed watching it. I'm gonna put it in best because I really love the Scream franchise, so almost all the movies would land in either great or best. I think I'll put it above Saw X by a very small little margin. Now we have Scream 6, the movie that came out a year after Scream 5. This time, instead of Woodsboro, they're in the big city of New York. Ghostface is running around being crazy. which I like. I like a lot of Ghostface antics with him running around being goofy and, you know, killing people. That's what we get. I think they do a better job of the action stuff in Scream 6 than Scream 5. We get the core four back again, and it's our main focus since Sydney's not there, but we still get Gail Weathers, and we stand Courtney Cox in this household, so that's always great. We get a couple of new characters to add to the franchise, but spoiler, they kind of don't last too long. The killer reveal is fine, but I don't know, when it happened I was like, oh, that's cool, but it just didn't hit the same as Scream 5's killer reveal. For a while I was thinking these movies were tied in my head, but I do think I prefer Scream 5 just a touch over Scream 6, but Scream 6 still goes in best because I love the Scream franchise. If I didn't love Scream as much as I do, it would probably land itself upper area of great. It does the franchise well, and I think it's a quality movie, so it's going in best tier. Now we have Smile. Came out in 2022. I think it took a lot of people by surprise. The trailers made it seem like it was going to be similar to Truth or Dare, where it's like cringy smile and all killing's gonna happen. But there's a lot more feeling behind it and a lot more meaning as well. Lots of good scares and spooks in this one. The ending is the only thing that I really wasn't a big fan of, but I thought it was still alright. The big demon thing looked crazy as hell. I do really want to watch Smile again, but I just haven't gotten around to doing it, so I can't really remember too much. I know it was really good, but a lot of things really escaped me. It's gonna go in great. It has all sorts of levels of creepiness to it, which I enjoy. And now we have Spiral, another Saw movie, but not Saw. It's from the Book of Saw. It takes place on the same universe. They know John Kramer is a person who did crazy things. This time it's a new Jigsaw killer, or copycat I guess I should say, and they're focusing on cops. The traps are fine. Chris Rock is fine. Samuel L. Jackson is also fine. The only reason this movie was made is because Chris Rock was like, I would like to be in a Saw movie, and studios probably threw money at him saying, do it, do it, do it, please do it. After my most recent watch of this movie, when I watched all the Saw movies, I definitely think this is the weakest one. While it's not terrible, there's a lot of things I'm just not too thrilled about with this movie. One of the big downsides is the new Jigsaw voice. Hello, detective. The computer voice, or whatever the hell, it doesn't carry the same feeling. It just is not great. It doesn't go in no, because I like the Saw franchise, and this is a part of it. So obviously I'm gonna kinda dig it, at least somewhat, but it's gonna go in meh for sure. Chris Rock in a Saw movie should be really good, but they went a different route, and I respect it. You gotta be a little different, but they went a bit too different, while also being too similar. So it's like, the main thought I have in my head is, why would you branch off and do something different, but pretty much do the same thing? The only difference is there's characters in it that we're not used to or that we don't know, and all the good things about Saw you took out of it and just made a bland copycat. I don't know why you made it like that, and it makes me question why you would even make it at all. Now we have Talk to Me. This came out in 2023. Very good. I compared it to Hereditary, similar tone and like just sad and like kind of depressing vibes. It's like, oh, things are just getting worse and worse, and oh, this situation sure does suck. But I know it seems like I'm making a mockery out of it, but the tone slapped. I don't like very sad horror movies. That's why I wasn't a big fan of Hereditary, because it's very depressing at some points, or pretty much most points. But Talk to Me carried a similar dark tone to it, but I still had a great time watching it. Probably one of the most quality horror movies that came out this year. It's probably gonna fall slightly under Orphan First Kill. I think there's enough creepiness to where I can keep it next to Smile, but I think I had a better time watching it over Smile. So Talk to Me, going in great, right above Smile, right under Orphan First Kill. Now we have Terrifier 2. I wasn't the biggest fan of Terrifier 1. I thought it was fine, thought the gore was pretty cool. Art the Clown's pretty funny and charismatic, and what a silly little goofball he is. And now we have him again in Terrifier 2, except the movie's like 2 hours long. There's like an actual story behind it, and not just, this clown's gonna go kill these two ladies. There's actually an attempt at a story, and yeah, there was an attempt. The story was probably one of the weaker things, other than the time, the freaking 2-hour runtime. You could have cut like so many things out of there. I know you had a bigger budget and you wanted to do more and more, but sometimes less is more, and there's a lot of things that you could have just left out and nobody would have batted an eye. The kills and the gore obviously were really great. Heads getting blown up, people getting dismantled. That was fun. A montage of those moments, cool stuff. And I know I was dragging the story down a little bit, but it wasn't the worst thing ever. It's just 2 hours? Damn, man. It was just like the Meg 2, where I'm like about an hour and 45 into it, probably a little less, an hour and 20, hour 30. I'm like, alright, wrap it up, but no, they wouldn't wrap it up. They wanted to give it 30 more minutes. So it's gonna go in good. Honestly, there's a case to be made for top of meh, but I did still kind of have an alright time watching it. I'll put it under alive. Now we have the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the one that came out on Netflix in 2022, I want to say. And what a silly little movie this is. A lot of people hated this movie. A lot of people still do hate this movie. I was shitting on it while watching it. But then when I was thinking about it, and I think I watched it another time afterwards, I was like, you know what? As much as this movie kind of sucks, I'm enjoying myself. The characters aren't dog shit terrible. Yeah, they can be annoying at times, but other than a couple of moments, they really do no harm. I guess maybe that's why people didn't like them, because they were on the bland side, but they did no harm. I didn't hate them. I didn't want to be like, just die already. I was like, oh, characters that are trying to figure out what the hell's going on. I thought some of the kills were pretty cool. I was about to list a few more things off, but I'm realizing now I can't think of a few more things. I just know that I did not hate this movie as much as a lot of people did, and it's a fun movie to put on and watch with friends and make little crappy jokes about what's happening in the movie because it's kind of silly and dumb. It's going in meh. I think I would rather watch Spiral over it just by a tad, and I think I'd watch it over Halloween Ends. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I never have too high hopes for that franchise. This one didn't do too much harm to it, so can't hate on it. Now we have The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. It wasn't as good as 1 or 2, but I love Ed and Lorraine Warren, and the story was still fine. It's gonna go top of good. I like my Conjuring movies with all the possessions and like creepy stuff happening to a poor family. Same thing was kind of happening here, but the main culprit was like witchcraft, and that's really not what like the first two were doing. I don't know, it feels like a big change from the first two, and it's like, I don't know, it just didn't feel like a Conjuring movie in my opinion. But like I said, I love Ed and Lorraine Warren, Patrick Wilson, Vera Farmiga, love them to death. So, I still like it. Now we have The Hunt, very political, very funny, very action-packed. While maybe a bit too political for my taste, I still had a very good time watching it. Just overall, a really solid movie. I could throw this thing on at any time and I'll be entertained watching it. Our main character we follow is an absolute badass, and she just like kicks ass at every corner, and we, no choice but to stand. I think I'll put it very bottom of great. I think maybe above old, I guess. I don't know. It's a fun little ride. I'm gonna put it above Renfield too, and hey, maybe controversial. Putting it above Smile, putting it above Talk to Me, kind of. Yeah. And now we have The Menu. I have labeled this movie as my comfort movie. I've watched it probably like 3 or 4 times now, and I just get cozy vibes from it. It's just a lot of characters, a lot of story, a lot of like, kind of build up to where we finally realize that Chef Slowick is like, oh, he's gonna do some terrible things tonight, isn't he? Anya Taylor-Joy, Nicholas Hoult, John Leguizamo's even in there. It's just all around a very great movie. I can watch it over and over again. In fact, I have. I'll put it over Last Night in Soho, and now that I'm looking at it and the way I've just talked about it, I think it deserves to be in best. Will it go over Scream 6? Maybe not. I'll probably leave it at the bottom of best. It's a movie I didn't expect to love so much, but I do, and so here we are. And next up, we got a bit of an interesting one. We have the New Mutants. I believe it's like a part of the X-Men stuff. It's like superheroes, but there's some like, I guess, horror elements in it. Enough horror elements to me to where I could kind of consider it a horror movie, slightly. I'm noticing now there is a lot of Anya Taylor-Joy on this list, so, keep slaying the horror genre queen, I guess. It's not the greatest movie, but I watched it randomly one day, and I just I enjoyed myself. I'm not the biggest X-Man person, so I don't know how all this relates to it too much, or if it even does. I think I might be just talking out of my ass, but, mutants, I think that's the X-Men's whole thing, I think. But there were some decent moments, and the characters are alright. I'm not gonna put it in meh. It'll probably land itself in good. Would I watch it over #alive? Probably under #alive. It's still worth a watch, and I think it's a fun little movie. And now we have The Night House, a movie I didn't expect to love so much, but I watched it to make a movie review and recap on just because it was somewhat new and it came to HBO Max, and I was like, alright, let's make a video on this for absolutely no reason, but I loved it. I'm glad I watched it. I love following Beth on this journey of finding out crazy things about her late husband, with like a replica house that's been built, and some things under the floorboard that I don't want to spoil because I want y'all to go check it out for yourselves. But I also have a movie review and recap on it, so, you know, maybe watch that, I guess. My main takeaway and the main thing I remember from this movie is the nothing is out to get you note that her husband left her, and that is true, nothing was out to get her. It is just awesome. I love it. Didn't expect to love it so much. Would I put it in best? It does go on for a little long, but I do like the characters, so more time with them is good. Does it go with the menu, Scream, Evil Dead, and Saw? I don't know. I think I'm going to put it very top of great. That and Last Night in Soho kind of are on that borderline, but top of great is where I think The Night House fits pretty well. Now we have The Black Phone. This movie is another movie I didn't expect to really like. I thought it was going to be good, but maybe not for me. But I watched it, and I was like, hey, this is really good. Ethan Hawke is great as the grabber. Our two kids that are siblings that we kind of follow around are pretty good. The main kid seeing the ghost of everybody else that has been in the grabber's basement or whatever that dungeon room is called. Just overall, some really good stuff in here. It's nothing too crazy, but I did find myself enjoying this movie quite a bit. It has enough like bursts of energy here and there to where I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm invested. I think I'm gonna put it in the very top of good. I haven't watched it since the first time I saw it, and I kind of want to rewatch it again just to see if I saw the same feelings about it. They/them, oh boy, here we go. I don't think too many people have even heard about this movie, and if they did, I don't think a lot of people enjoyed it. I didn't hear anything outstanding about it. I watched it because I was doing a 2022 horror movie tier list, or something like that, and Kevin Bacon is in it, and I like Kevin Bacon. I'm gonna be completely honest, I thought this movie was gonna outright suck, but you know what? It's a slasher. I enjoy the characters. You know, it's good. It's solid. You know, it probably would fit well in top of meh, bottom of good. I think I would probably watch it over Terrifier 2. It's fairly short. It gets all its points across. It's not 2 hours long. You know, the gore, I don't think there's really any gore in it, if I can remember correctly. The premise behind the movie is a bit like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing, I guess, sure. But at the end of the day, I think I just thought it was alright, and I didn't think it was a waste of my time. Terrifier 2, I did not think it was a waste of my time, but I wish it took up less of my time. I keep dogging on Terrifier 2, but really the only major thing about it that I dislike is the length of it, but just looking at it in this good tier, I think I'm gonna have to move it down to meh. And now we have Willy's Wonderland. It's just the same as Five Nights at Freddy's, just kidding. I mean, it's, you know, puppets slash mascots of a children's restaurant or party place, whatever the hell, that are going crazy, except, you know, Five Nights at Freddy's has Josh Hutcherson and Matthew Lillard. Willy's Wonderland has frickin' Nick Cage. It obviously doesn't have the budget that Five Nights at Freddy's did. There's some fun to be had with this movie, mainly Nicolas Cage kicking ass, all the animatronics, you know, beating them up, making them spew out their black ooze. He doesn't say a word in this movie, he just cleans and kicks ass. The other characters that are involved, yeah, whatever. So, you know what? It's like a movie in two halves. You got awesome Nick Cage being goofy, cleaning, and beating up shit, and then you got the actual story stuff that I really could care less about. So I think it's gonna go in probably meh. We got The Real Thing this year with Five Nights at Freddy's, so I can't really hate on this movie too much because it was trying to be Five Nights without being Five Nights. And now we have Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. This movie, you know, points for trying something, I guess. It's going in no. Just no. I wanted to like the movie. I thought the premise was stupid enough to where I might like it. Spoiler, and by the placing, you can probably tell that it was not. I didn't care about it. The characters, dude, like I said, I really wanted to like it. I really did. I thought, damn, this is dumb. But I like dumb stuff. Cocaine Bear legit is sitting up here next to a Halloween movie and Nope, so that tells you I like some stupid shit. But this movie was straight up just bad. I don't think there's a single good thing I could say about this movie other than at least they made a movie and at least they tried something. Bravo for that, I guess. Now we have Wrong Turn 2021, I believe. It doesn't follow really the same story as all the other Wrong Turns, or premise, I guess is a better word. I think it still turned out pretty pretty good. It doesn't need to be Wrong Turn. It doesn't need to be a part of the franchise. The only thing it does the same really is like group of characters in the woods and they get attacked. Is it by mutated cannibal weirdos? No. It just isn't really a Wrong Turn movie. When a series like Wrong Turn gets a reboot, it seems a bit kind of destined to fail. It follows the same premise, so I guess it does count as a successful reboot because I liked it. I don't know how everybody else feels about it, but I thought it was decent enough that's gonna go in good. Every time I watch it, I kind of like it a tiny bit more, so we'll put it over #live. Wrong Turn wasn't bad. And finally, to end off this tier list, we have X. This movie was praised like a son of a gun. I watched it. I thought it was pretty good, but people were really hyping it up and gassing it up and acting like, damn, this is fantastic. And while it was good, I feel like it was a bit overhyped. It's probably just a me thing. I never want to shit on a movie if it doesn't, meet the levels of hype that other people have given it, because everybody's different. But when the vast majority of people say this is going to be freaking awesome and it was amazing, and I don't necessarily think all that, it's like, oh, damn, that's kind of a bummer. But not the movie's fault. A lot of sex and killing, and, it's like a good little slasher, some funny moments, some cool moments. I think it's a very, very solid movie. Probably not going in great for me personally. Maybe a touch above Nope. Both Nope and X were praised all to hell in 2022. Both movies I enjoyed, but not at the level of most people. So what are you gonna do? But there you have it. I think this tier list is complete. We got years 2020 to 2023 horror movies that I have seen right there for your eyes. Only 2 movies in, the past 3 years that I was like, hey, these kind of sucked and I don't ever want to watch them again. And I'd say really everything from best to hell, even like the first half of meh, is worth your time to watch. So if you want to watch a fuck ton of movies, there you go. Here's my personal recommendations. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for years 2015 to 2019 coming up. I don't know when, probably within the next couple of weeks. So see you then. Bye-bye.